The alert came at 3:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Deep space monitoring stations across Earth simultaneously detected an anomaly near Jupiter's orbit, a ripple in spacetime that shouldn't have been possible according to known physics. Dr. Elena Martinez, lead researcher at the European Space Agency's Deep Space Communications Array, was the first to recognize it wasn't a malfunction. "This is structured," she announced to her bleary-eyed team, gesturing at the quantum oscillation patterns dancing across her holographic display. "These aren't random fluctuations. They're repeating in Fibonacci sequences." Within hours, every major space agency on Earth was processing the signal. It took them 3 days to decode the first message. "Help. Station critical. Survivors aboard. No power for jump." The signal's origin point was tracked to what appeared to be a massive structure in Jupiter's L4 Lagrange point, previously hidden by the gas giant's intense radiation field. When the first telescopic images came through, they revealed something that sent shockwaves through human civilization. A burning space station nearly 2 kilometers in length, its hull breached in multiple locations. The nearest human vessel was the UNSS Prometheus, a newly commissioned deep space rescue ship equipped with experimental fusion drives. Even at maximum acceleration, it would take them 15 days to reach the station. No one knew if the survivors could last that long. Captain Sarah Wong stood on the Prometheus's bridge, watching her crew prepare for humanity's first interstellar rescue mission. "This is what we trained for," she reminded them, though no amount of training could have prepared them for saving an alien species. "We're about to show the galaxy what humanity does best, refusing to let the impossible stop us from doing what's right." The journey pushed the Prometheus's engines beyond their design limits. Chief Engineer Raj Patel worked miracles keeping the fusion drives stable as they burned at 110% capacity for 2 weeks straight. When they finally arrived, the situation was worse than anyone had anticipated. The alien station was actually a research facility, its architecture unlike anything humans had ever seen. Crystalline structures stretched out in fractal patterns, many now shattered by what appeared to be some kind of internal explosion. Thermal readings showed dozens of separate fires still burning throughout the structure, fed by unknown energy sources. "We're picking up life signs," reported Dr. James Chen from his sensor station. "Multiple signatures, but they're fading. The station's remaining atmospheric containment fields are failing." Captain Wong didn't hesitate. "Launch rescue teams. Priority is stabilizing those containment fields and evacuating survivors. Engineer Patel, can we extend our shields around their critical sections?" "Not designed for it, Captain," Raj replied, already making calculations. "But I can modify our field geometry. It won't be pretty, but it should buy us some time." The next 12 hours became a testament to human adaptability and determination. Rescue teams in experimental deep space suits navigated the alien architecture, learning to read unfamiliar warning signs through trial and error. They discovered the station's inhabitants were crystalline beings that communicated through light pulses, a fact that required immediate adaptation of all rescue protocols. When the first team reached the main research core, they found something unexpected. The station wasn't just a research facility, it was an archive, containing the combined scientific knowledge of multiple civilizations. The explosion had been caused by an attempt to prevent this knowledge from falling into the hands of an unnamed hostile force. The rescue teams worked tirelessly, fighting fires in zero gravity, while Engineer Patel's jury-rigged shield modifications kept the worst of the structural damage from spreading. They saved 47 of the crystalline beings, along with nearly 60% of their data archives. As the last survivor was brought aboard, the alien leader, who called itself First Light of Understanding, transmitted a message directly to Captain Wong's neural interface. "In all our centuries of space travel, we never imagined our salvation would come from a species so young. You achieved in hours what our most advanced rescue protocols deemed impossible. Perhaps we were not the ones doing the saving today." The Prometheus began its journey back to Earth, It holds carefully climate control to accommodate their crystalline passengers. But it wasn't just alien refugees they were bringing home. It was humanity's first step into a much larger galaxy, one where their unique combination of innovation, determination, and compassion would prove more valuable than any advanced technology. As Captain Wong recorded her mission log, she couldn't help but smile. First contact came not through war or trade, but through an act of rescue. Maybe that says something about who we are as a species. When we hear a call for help, we answer, no matter who's calling or what stands in our way. Today, humanity proved that our greatest strength isn't our technology or our intelligence, but our unconquerable spirit and our unwavering resolve to help those in need. The Prometheus's return to Earth would mark the beginning of a new era for humanity. The knowledge they saved, combined with the gratitude of the crystalline beings, would open doors to technological advancement beyond their wildest dreams. But more importantly, it established humanity's reputation among the stars, not as conquerors or merchants, but as the ones who would brave any danger to answer a distress call. 6 months after the Prometheus rescue mission, Earth had changed more than anyone could have imagined. The crystalline beings, now known as the Lumini, had shared their vast archives of scientific knowledge. But with that knowledge came a terrible burden. Dr. Elena Martinez stood in the newly constructed Lunar Integration Center, watching holographic displays of Earth's rapidly evolving defense network. The Lumini's warning about the Void Collective, a species that consumed knowledge and civilizations alike, had sparked the greatest unified effort in human history. Their mistake was trying to hide. First light of understanding pulsed softly beside her, its crystalline form refracting the room's light into dancing patterns. They thought advanced shields and stealth technology would protect them. They forgot that sometimes the best defense is the unexpected. Elena nodded, remembering how human ingenuity had already surprised their alien guests multiple times. When the Lumini explained their quantum communication systems, human engineers had immediately suggested using old-fashioned radio waves as a backup, something so primitive the Void Collective wouldn't think to monitor it. The real breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Dr. Marcus Chen, a video game developer turned defense consultant, proposed adapting ML raid tactics to space warfare. The Void Collective expects sophisticated defensive grids, he explained during a global strategy meeting. They don't expect thousands of small, independently operated ships coordinating like a swarm of angry bees. The next few months saw the largest industrial mobilization in human history. While the Lumini helped upgrade Earth's technology, humans focused on what they did best, finding unconventional solutions to impossible problems. Engineer Raj Patel, now heading the Global Defense Initiative's R&D division, led the development of hybrid tech, combinations of advanced alien technology and human improvisation that produced unexpected results. They're looking for standard energy signatures, he explained to military leaders. Our ships will look like space junk until it's too late. The Lumini were particularly fascinated by humanity's concept of planned obsolescence. The idea that technology could be designed to be replaced rather than maintained forever was foreign to them, but it proved crucial in developing systems the Void Collective couldn't predict or counter. Captain Sarah Wong, promoted to Fleet Commander, oversaw the training of Earth's first unified space force. We're not trying to match their technology level for level, she told her pilots. We're going to fight like humans. Adaptable, unpredictable, and absolutely refusing to follow the expected rules of engagement. But the greatest surprise for the Lumini came from watching humans process the knowledge in their archives. While other species had taken centuries to gradually adopt new technologies, humans approached it like solving a puzzle game, testing combinations, making mistakes, and learning from each failure faster than anyone thought possible. Your species doesn't wait for perfect solutions, First Light observed to Elena during a late-night research session. You find imperfect answers and make them work through sheer determination. It's terrifying and inspiring in equal measure. The warning came sooner than anyone had hoped. Long-range sensors detected Void Collective scout ships entering the solar system. They were still months away from Earth, but their arrival confirmed humanity's worst fears. They had traced the Lumini's escape path. In the Strategic Command Center beneath Mount Cheyenne, global leaders gathered to review their preparations. The holographic display showed Earth's transformed orbital space, a mix of decoy satellites, hidden weapon platforms, and thousands of civilian ships retrofitted with hybrid technology. "They'll expect us to be primitive," Alina presented to the assembled leaders. "Their scans will show a civilization just beginning to explore space. What they won't see is every primitive satellite carrying quantum-enhanced weapons, every piece of space debris hiding sophisticated sensors." First Light's crystalline form pulsed with concern. "You understand that facing the Void Collective means potentially sacrificing much of what you've built. Even with our knowledge, the chances of victory are better than you think," Sarah interrupted, a fierce grin on her face. "Because you're calculating based on conventional space warfare. We've spent 6 months preparing for something very different." She gestured to the display, showing simulations of Earth's defense plan. "We're not trying to win a traditional battle. We're going to turn our entire solar system into the galaxy's biggest game of capture the flag. And humans have been practicing that game for generations." As the meeting concluded, Alina found herself in the observation dome, watching Earth's transformed orbital space. Satellites moved in seemingly random patterns, disguised defense platforms drifted like debris, and the first waves of hybrid tech ships ran combat drills that looked more like chaos than military maneuvers. First Light joined her, its crystalline surface reflecting the scene. "When we chose to send our distress signal to Earth, we thought we were reaching out to a young species who might help us survive. Instead, we may have found the ones who will teach the galaxy a new way to fight." Alina smiled, watching a squadron of ships practice their unorthodox maneuvers. "The Void Collective expects everyone to follow the same technological progression, to fight the same way. They're about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's our ability to change the rules of the game." Word spread quickly through the hidden channels of space. Earth, once considered a backwater world of limited significance, had become something unprecedented. A fortress that welcomed refugees while preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Void Collective. Commander Maya Patel stood on the observation deck of Sanctuary Station, Earth's first deep space diplomatic outpost, watching as another refugee ship emerged from hyperspace. This one carried the Arathi, beings of pure energy who had flooded their home system just ahead of the Void Collective's advance. "That makes 17 species now," noted Ambassador Chen, his holographic form flickering slightly as he reviewed the data. After the success of hybrid tech development, humanity had experimented with transferring human consciousness into energy matrices, allowing them to communicate more effectively with non-corporeal species. The Arathi ship approached cautiously, then transmitted their identification in the new universal format Earth had developed, a combination of simple mathematical patterns and emotional signatures that any species could understand. It was typical of humanity's approach. When existing protocols proved too complex, they simply created new ones that worked better. Deep within Sanctuary Station, the Welcome Center had been designed to accommodate virtually any form of life. Gravitational fields could be adjusted instantly, atmospheric composition could be modified on the fly, and temperature zones could range from near absolute zero to plasma hot. It was a testament to humanity's commitment to protecting all forms of life. But the station served another purpose. Each refugee species brought new knowledge, new perspectives, and new ways of thinking that humanity eagerly incorporated into their defense preparations. The Arathi, for instance, understood energy patterns in ways that revolutionized human shield technology. "They're scanning our defenses," Maya observed, watching the alien ship's sensor patterns. "They always do, and they're always surprised." The surprise was understandable. Earth's defensive network looked wrong to advanced species. It appeared to be a hodgepodge of different technologies, operating in ways that shouldn't work together. Quantum fields overlapped with primitive radio waves. Advanced AI systems worked alongside simple mechanical triggers, and ships moved in patterns that seemed random but were actually coordinated through human gaming protocols. "It's beautiful, in its way," came a harmonic thought from Seventh Psalm, one of the Lumini's leading scientists. "Every other species builds defenses like a perfect crystal, structured, predictable. Humanity builds like evolution itself, chaotic, adaptive, full of redundancies and unexpected connections." The Arathi ship docked, and Maya headed to the Welcome Center. Each new species required a unique approach, but humanity had become remarkably adept at making first contact feel like a homecoming. They had learned that hospitality could be as universal as mathematics. Meanwhile, in the station's Strategic Command Center, the ongoing defense preparations continued. Holographic displays showed the latest intelligence on the Void Collective's advance through nearby systems. They were being methodical, thorough, and completely predictable. "They still think in straight lines," noted Dr. Sarah Wong, now head of Earth's Strategic Defense Initiative. "They move from system to system, expecting resistance to follow standard patterns. They haven't figured out yet that we've turned the entire solar system into one giant trick box." The term trick box had become military slang for humanity's defensive strategy. Instead of relying on pure technological superiority, they had created layers of deception, misdirection, and improvisation. Every apparent weakness was a trap, every obvious target a decoy. The refugee species had been skeptical at first, but as they watched humanity's preparations, they began to understand. Humans weren't just preparing for a battle, they were rewriting the rules of space warfare. "Your species thinks differently," an Arathi elder communicated during their welcome briefing. "We fled because we could not match the Void Collective's technological superiority. You don't even try to match it. You simply change the game entirely." Maya smiled. "We learned early on that if you can't win by playing their game, you make them play yours instead." The strategy was evident in every aspect of Earth's preparations. The refugee species brought advanced technology, and humanity found ways to use it that its creators had never imagined. They combined Lumini quantum fields with old television broadcasts to create undetectable communication networks. They used Arathi energy manipulation techniques to turn Jupiter's magnetic field into a solar system-wide early warning system. But perhaps most importantly, they taught their refugees how to fight back. Each species had fled believing resistance was futile against the Void Collective's technological superiority. Humanity showed them that superior technology meant nothing if you couldn't predict how it would be used against you. As Maya watched the Arathi integrate into Sanctuary Station's community, she received word that another refugee ship had been detected approaching the solar system. But this time, something was different. This ship was being pursued. "Battle stations," she ordered, her voice calm but firm. "Looks like we might get to test our tricks sooner than expected. Show these newcomers why Earth has become the place that nightmares fear to tread." The alarm sounded throughout the station, but there was no panic. They had prepared for this, trained for it, anticipated it. As humanity's first line of defense moved into position, Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Void Collective was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the most advanced technology. It's the one who knows how to use whatever they have in ways you never expected. The Void Collective's initial probe force arrived exactly as humanity had predicted, methodically, confidently, and completely unprepared for what awaited them. Admiral Sarah Wong watched from the camouflaged command center on Titan as the enemy vessels entered the solar system. They were massive constructs of dark matter and crystalline technology, each one larger than anything humanity had built. Their sensors swept the system, searching for the expected patterns of a civilization worth consuming. "Let them see what we want them to see," Sarah commanded, her voice carrying across the neural network that connected Earth's defenders. The trap was 3 years in the making, and every species that had sought refuge with humanity had contributed to its creation. The Void Collective's scan revealed exactly what humanity wanted: a solar system defended by somewhat advanced, but apparently uncoordinated technology, scattered settlements, basic defense satellites, and ships that appeared to be using modified versions of salvaged alien tech. "They're launching their first wave," reported Commander Maya Patel from Sanctuary Station. "Standard conquest protocol. They're not even bothering to adapt their approach." The void ships deployed in a perfect geometric formation, their weapon systems charging with predictable precision. They had conquered 1,000 worlds this way, and their arrogance had become their methodology. "Execute Operation Chaos Game," Sarah ordered, a slight smile playing across her lips. Instantly, the seemingly random debris scattered throughout the solar system came alive. What appeared to be abandoned satellites revealed themselves as quantum-linked weapon platforms. Clouds of space dust transformed into swarms of microscopic drones. Even the patterns of radio interference that had been irritating the Void Collective's sensors were actually carriers for viral code. The first wave of Void ships didn't even have time to register surprise. Their perfect formation was shattered by attacks coming from directions they had dismissed as irrelevant. Human ships, appearing from hidden pockets of warped space, struck with technologies cobbled together from a dozen different species. "They're adapting," Maya reported, watching the enemy regroup. "Second wave incoming, new formation." But that was exactly what humanity had been counting on. The Void Collective's greatest weakness was its own superiority. It always assumed its adaptations would be enough. "Execute Symphony Protocol," Sarah commanded. This was humanity's masterpiece of military deception. Each refugee species had contributed a piece of technology, but humans had combined them in ways that defied conventional logic. Lumini quantum fields merged with Arathi energy manipulation, filtered through human gaming algorithms, created weapons that didn't so much destroy as rewrite the rules of spacetime around their targets. The second wave of void ships found themselves trapped in bubbles of warped reality, where their advanced technology worked against them. Their weapons fired backwards, their shields protected them from nothing, and their sophisticated sensors showed them only what Earth's defenders wanted them to see. But the true genius of humanity's defense wasn't in the technology, it was in the strategy. Every apparent victory the Void Collective achieved was actually leading them deeper into humanity's trap. They were fighting the way they always had, expecting the enemy to eventually run out of tricks. "They still don't understand," First Light observed from its position in the command center. "They think this is about technology. They haven't realized that humanity's greatest weapon is its unpredictability." The turning point came when the Void Collective launched what they thought would be their decisive strike. They had analyzed the patterns of Earth's defense, identified what they believed were the key strategic positions, and launched a massive assault to crush them all at once. "All defenders," Sarah broadcast across the neural network, "Operation Papercut is now in effect." What followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. Instead of defending their supposedly critical positions, Earth's forces abandoned them entirely. The Void Collective's overwhelming attack met no resistance, and in that moment of apparent victory, they realized too late that they had committed their forces exactly where humanity wanted them. The abandoned positions were actually massive gravity wells in disguise, created by combining human theoretical physics with Arathi energy manipulation. As they activated, the proud ships of the Void Collective found themselves trapped, their own mass turned against them. "Now," Sarah ordered, "show them why you don't corner a species that invented both chess and professional wrestling." Earth's defenders struck from all sides, using technologies and tactics that no sane military strategist would have considered. Ships performed maneuvers that seemed suicidal until they worked perfectly. Weapons combined principles that should have been incompatible. Even the civilian vessels played their part, their seemingly random movements actually coordinating the entire defense network. The Void Collective, faced with an enemy that refused to fight according to any recognizable doctrine of warfare, did something they had never done before. They retreated. As the last enemy ships flooded the solar system, Sarah stood in the command center, watching the cleanup begin. "Send word to all our refugee species," she ordered. "Tell them it's time for Phase 2. We're not just going to defend. We're going to show the galaxy how to fight back." The battle for Earth was over, but it had proved something far more important than humanity's ability to defend itself. It had shown that the most advanced technology could be defeated by the simple human traits of innovation, adaptation, and the absolute refusal to accept impossible odds. "You have changed everything," First Light pulsed softly. "Not just the battle, but the very nature of warfare itself." Sarah nodded, already planning the next phase. "That's what humans do best. We don't just change the rules. We rewrite the entire game." 5 years after the Battle of Sol, Earth had become something unprecedented in galactic history. Not just a sanctuary or a military power, but a crucible of innovation that was reshaping civilization itself. Admiral Sarah Wong stood aboard Harmony Station, the massive new diplomatic hub orbiting Earth's L5 point. Below her, ships from 100 different species moved in carefully coordinated patterns, each one a testament to humanity's impact on galactic society. "Another Void Collective stronghold has fallen," reported Ambassador Chen, his holographic form now sophisticated enough to convey subtle emotions. "The Coalition used our chaos theory battle doctrine. The Collective never saw it coming." The news wasn't surprising. After Earth's successful defense, humanity had done something unprecedented. They'd freely shared their military innovations with any species willing to fight back. But they didn't just provide technology. They taught their way of thinking. The Academy's latest graduation ceremony is about to begin. Maya Patel, now director of the Interstellar Defense Academy, announced as she joined them. "You might want to see this class. There's something special." The Academy had become legendary across the galaxy. It was where species sent their brightest minds to learn not just Earth's technology, but humanity's approach to problem-solving. The current class included crystalline lumini, energy-based aerethi, and dozens of other species, all learning to think like humans while bringing their own unique perspectives. "Remember when they thought we were primitives?" Sarah mused, watching the gathering below. The graduation hall was a marvel of adaptive architecture, automatically adjusting to accommodate every form of life present. Now they send their people here to learn how to be more like us. But Earth's influence went far beyond military matters. The human approach to problem-solving had sparked a renaissance in galactic civilization. Species that had been stagnant for millennia were suddenly innovating again, inspired by humanity's habit of questioning everything and trying the impossible just to see what would happen. The Lumini had particularly embraced this new way of thinking. Their once rigid crystal structures now incorporated seemingly chaotic elements that made them stronger and more adaptable. "We learned that perfection isn't about flawlessness." First Light, now a senior instructor at the Academy, often told new students. "It's about perfect adaptation to change." In the station's research wing, Dr. Elena Martinez led the Convergence Project, where scientists from across the galaxy worked together in ways that would have been unimaginable before. They didn't just share knowledge. They deliberately combined technologies and methodologies that shouldn't work together, inspired by humanity's knack for making the impossible possible. The latest breakthrough in quantum mechanics came from combining Arathi energy theory with human video game physics, Elena explained to a group of visiting dignitaries. "Sometimes the best solutions come from refusing to accept that things can't work together." But perhaps the most profound change was in how the galaxy itself operated. The old hierarchies of technological advancement had been shattered. Species were no longer judged by how advanced their technology was, but by how creatively they could use what they had. "We're getting reports from the frontier," Maya announced during the daily briefing. 3 more systems have successfully repelled Void Collective incursions using our methods. The Collective's expansion has not just been stopped, it's being reversed. The Void Collective, once thought invincible, was struggling to adapt to a galaxy that no longer played by their rules. Their technological superiority meant little against opponents who refused to fight conventional wars. Every victory they had achieved through predictable patterns was now being undone by chaos and creativity. Sarah walked through the graduation ceremony, watching as beings of all forms celebrated their achievement. Each graduate was returning to their home system, not just with new knowledge, but with a new way of thinking. They would become catalysts of change, spreading humanity's gift of innovative thinking across the stars. You know what the really interesting part is? Elena commented, joining her. We're still learning too. Every species that comes here teaches us something new, shows us a different way to look at the universe. We're not just teaching them to think like humans. We're learning to think in ways no one ever has before. The ceremony concluded with a tradition that had become symbolic of Earth's new role in the galaxy. Each graduate demonstrated a unique innovation they had developed, combining their species' knowledge with human creativity. The results were often bizarre, sometimes seemingly impossible, but always revolutionary. This is humanity's true legacy. First light observed, its crystalline form refracting the light of 1,000 stars. Not the technology we've developed or the battles we've won, but the way we've taught the galaxy to reimagine what's possible. From the observation deck, Sarah watched as ships departed carrying new graduates back to their home systems. Each one was a seed of change, carrying with them the most powerful weapon humanity had ever shared, the ability to think differently. We didn't just change how the galaxy fights, she reflected. We changed how it thinks, how it solves problems, how it imagines its future. And that's a victory that will last longer than any battle. As if to emphasize her point, a new ship emerged from hyperspace, another refugee species seeking Earth's protection and knowledge. But unlike the desperate refugees of the past, these came not in fear, but in hope. They had heard that Earth was where the impossible became possible, where ancient limitations were forgotten, and where the future was limited only by imagination. Send the welcome message, Sarah ordered with a smile. Tell them they've come to the right place. Earth is where the galaxy comes to learn how to rewrite its own rules.